The Atlanta Hawks did it. After the 103-96 win against the 76ers, Trae Young and company went over to the Eastern Conference Finals. In the Bucks' overtime win against the Nets in their own Game 7 made the Bucks advance to the Eastern Conference Finals in this messy 2021 NBA playoffs. Today I'm going to be previewing this series and everything you need to know about the Hawks and the Bucks.
They be like, what? Can you teach me how to dirty? You know why? Cause all the bitches love it. All I need is a beat that's super bumpin'. And for you to back it up and dump it.
Leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I make regular NBA content, and if that is something which interests you, do subscribe to my channel. Both these teams technically came into the series as underdogs, and both of them came out above. The Hawks were not even considered favorite by even Hawks fans in the series. Ben Simmons has been the best perimeter defender this year, and with Thibault being one of the best defenders this season, the Hawks were expected to be shut down. But this was not the case. Trae Young did only shoot 39% from the field this series, but he took a massive jump this series and is arguably the best player of the series. He averaged 11 assists per game the entire series, and when the game was on the line, always showed up and was the most confident and clutch player in the series. He averaged 29-11 over the series, and it cannot be stretched how good he was overall. The main reason he was so good in the clutch is that the Hawks played Ben Simmons off the court. Trae Young did manage to play well with Thibault on him in the clutch, and with Ben Simmons being so god-awful in making a bloody free throw, the Hawks won the games in the clutch. As I said before, Trae Young took a lead this playoffs. He's impacting games in many more ways when he can't score, by playmaking and leadership and his contagious confidence. Played a massive part in this Hawks winning the series. Though Trae Young has taken such a big jump, the reason the Hawks won the series is their offensive versatility. The number of scoring options and the many different ways in which the Hawks can kill opposing offenses is ridiculous. John Collins, Bogdanovic, Herter, Gallinari, Capella and Lou Williams all had exceptional series both on offense and defense. Collins was amazing on both ends of the floor, catching lobs when he needed to, killing Tobias Harris on the pick and roll, and taking advantage of an injured Embiid on offense. He's also become a smarter player this series, leaving Ben Simmons open whenever Embiid was dominating on the post, and played a big part in Embiid having 16 turnovers in the last two games. He's probably going to be responsible for the Giannis matchup. Though Giannis and Ben Simmons have quite similar playstyles, Giannis is a much better overall player and is not scared to attack the rim whatsoever. Having Hunter would have given the Hawks Collins, Capella and Hunter three big bodies with which they could have made a much better wall than Brooklyn or Miami made and make Giannis earn his shots. But this isn't the case. I still expect Collins and Capella to do a decent job on Giannis, but they could have really used Hunter. Bogdanovic hasn't been healthy for the last three games of the 76ers series and doesn't have any calendar for a complete recovery yet. He would have played a vital role in the Hawks offense, but with him being injured, it puts a large responsibility on the man of the hour, Kevin Herter. Herter, while having one of the best nicknames in the league, has been exceptional in Bogdanovic's absence. He was carrying the offense with a struggling Trae Young and was a massive reason why they were still even in the game in Game 7. He played the secondary ball handler and scorer role very well and will play a vital part in the Bucks series. The problem is, the Bucks defense doesn't have a weak link like the Sixers did with Seth Curry. The Hawks did an exceptional job taking advantage of Seth Curry on offense, but with Trae Young being guarded by Jrue Holiday and the rest of the players being guarded by very solid defenders, it is going to be much harder for Herter to repeat what he did against the 76ers. They need to hope Bogdanovic comes back healthy and can go back to his regular season form. But the thing according to me which gives the Hawks a massive advantage over the Bucks is their bench depth. The Bucks are coming off a tiresome 7-game overtime series where you could see them tied in the last game. The bench has been so god-awful this playoffs, and with the Hawks bench consisting of experienced players who have been showing up this playoffs such as Lou Williams, Danilo Gallinari, Solomon Hill and Kevin Herter, and even their rookie Okongwu, who has been great defensively for them this playoffs, gives them a massive advantage over the Bucks. The biggest requirement for the Hawks this series will be Trae Young to be the best player in this series. It is a big ask for a third-year player, but his confidence and swagger gives me confidence that he can be the best player in the series, at least offensively, if not on the two-way play. Moving on to the Bucks side of things. To start off, I'm very disappointed in the Bucks. I know they did manage to beat the Brooklyn Nets, though it went to 7 games. Kyrie Irving went down in Game 3 and Harden never really played this entire series. They would have been gone in 5 with just Kyrie and probably would have been swept if all three of them were healthy in my opinion. Their offense couldn't run smoothly until like Game 7. Kevin Durant almost single-handedly propelled the Nets to the conference finals and was 1 inch away from winning the game. That's actually high-key scary for the rest of the league too. Back to the Bucks. Drew Holiday has been very underwhelming this playoffs. He showed up in the clutch in Game 7, but his offense has been terrible. His playmaking was alright, but he shot 36% from the field and an awful 26% from the 3. He couldn't hit a shot to save his life and for some reason couldn't take advantage of the injured James Harden. But the two big positives of the series were their two best players, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton. Giannis has been exceptional. He averaged 32, 13 and 4. He was criticized for his defense for not guarding KD, but I genuinely don't blame him. Due to Budenholzer's absolute brilliance, Giannis brought up the ball to the top of the key every single possession. He was a part of every single position and you really can't ask him to do that on offense while guarding KD on defense. He wasn't the best player in the series by any means, but he still attacked the paint relentlessly, and as the series progressed, he realized he should stop shooting and just attack. He drew fouls, but he didn't make his free throws. But with the series on the line, did a great job hitting free throws in Game 7. He will have more trouble with Collins and Capella as I mentioned before, but I expect him to do just fine and be the best player of the series. Moving on to his partner in crime, Chris Middleton. Middleton did an exceptional job down the stretch and throughout the game. He had a terrible game 1 and 2 and they lost both of them. But since then he has been averaging 28 points, 8.6 rebounds and 5 assists per game on 45-41% shooting. He played almost every minute and did an exceptional job in the free throw line. Every time the play ran through him, he got a bucket more often than not. He did an exceptional job defensively too, and he did an alright job when he guarded KD whenever he was switched upon. He probably will be guarded by like Solomon Hill, and I expect him to do just as good of a job offensively he did in the end of the series against the Nets. But the two problems for the Bucks, according to me, will be Brook Lopez and their bench. Lopez had an amazing Game 7 and did a great job throughout the series protecting the rim, but his drop coverage still hasn't really been taken advantage of as Harden and Kyrie Irving were both injured. Hawks, on the other hand, run a million pick and rolls a game, and Trae Young has been one of the best pick and roll ball handlers in recent history. He will absolutely murder Brook Lopez on offense, and I believe he will play him off the court. They might have to play Giannis at the 5, and this might force them to play like Brian Forbes at the 2, and the Hawks have been so good in taking advantage of the weekend defender. This will be hard for the Bucks to manage. And the second problem for the Bucks, according to me, is their depth. They basically just played 7 deep and had no one interesting off the bench. The Hawks bench is a complete other stratosphere compared to the Bucks. This series, according to me, will be much closer than the general public will give it credit for. The Bucks have been exposed in the Nets series and I really don't trust that team, especially after that trash play which was drawn at the end of regulation for Brook Lopez. Nate McMillan is the best coach in this series and that might play a massive role in it. I'm going to go Bucks in 7, but I'm rooting for the Hawks to win it. I'm rooting for Trae Young to win this series and I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if they did win it. Leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I drop very regular NBA content and preview all the playoff series, and if that is something which interests you, do subscribe to the channel.